when he compiled 3,065 passing yards and 20 touchdowns, helping Penn State to 10 wins and a national quarterfinal finish. For his efforts, he earned first-team All-MIAA and honorable mention Division II All-American honors. In all, Majors garnered all-conference honors each of his final 3 seasons for the Gorillas. As a junior in 2004, he shared time at quarterback with Gorillas Hall of Famer Neil Philpott. Majors passed for 1,769 yards and 19 touchdowns that year. He also rushed for 772 yards and 12 scores, earning honorable mention All-MIAA honors. As a sophomore in 2003, Majors passed for 464 yards and 2 touchdowns. He rushed for 315 yards and 3 scores and posted 147 receiving yards, also earning honorable mention All-Conference recognition. He finished his versatile career with 5,531 passing yards and 43 touchdowns, as well as 2,336 rushing yards and 34 scores. Majors helped the Gorillas enjoy a record-setting season in 2004, shattering the NCAA's All-Division single-season scoring record with 837 points and an average of 55.8 points per game. That team would also set the NCAA's All-Division single-season total offense record with 8,976 yards, an average of 598.4 yards per game, and Pitt State secured NCAA Division II's all-time greatest rushing season in 2004 with 5,320 yards and an average of 354.7 yards per game. Majors helped Pitt State run off 14 consecutive victories in 2004 and make the program's 4th appearance in the NCAA Division II National Championship game at Florence, Alabama. While the Gorillas would come up 5 points short in the championship game, falling 36-31 to Valdosta State, Georgia, the legacy of Majors and the 2004 Pitt State football team will stand for generations to come. History also remembers Andy Majors as one of the Gorillas' all-time greats. Tonight he takes his rightful place in the PSU Athletics Hall of Fame. Help me welcome Andy Majors to our distinguished group of Hall of Fame.
I've shared that story with him, before, and it's pretty cool to be able to go back there. And, like I said, it's really inspiring. My son obviously sees pictures, sees videos. Right. My whole hope is, my son sitting here in the front is just super inspired by all of this. And I'll be honest with you, it gets the juices going again. Clearly. So it's hard to tell. All my teammates at work may be ready to work on Monday because I'm bringing the juice.
Okay, so most people have somebody that really inspired them or helped them get somewhere and really helped move them along. Do you have somebody like that in your life?
Yeah, I do. It's pretty obvious, and no offense, Ken, I'm not going to look at you at all during this. So, it's pretty obvious. It's my mom, my dad, and my brother. They're all sitting here in front. And, they taught me hard work. They taught me what winning looks like, from day one. And, obviously everybody in this room would not be where they are without, some type of tutelage from somebody in their life. But like I said, it's obvious. It's my mom, my dad, my brother. My mom and dad did a great job of laying the foundation, even though it was probably harder for me than it was my brother, because he's a little bit better than I am in a lot of areas. But they did that. They were patient with me, and it was phenomenal. And, my brother, 3 years older than me, so obviously I, naturally looked up to him. And it was pretty cool because he went through the recruiting process before me, so we kind of knew the ins and the outs and kind of how to process everything. And, you know, I looked up to him more than he ever knows. And the fact that, you know, there's a lot more people here than just them, but I would say they had the biggest impact of me being here today.
Okay, so you established yourself as one of the all-time great QBs, yet you played some wide receiver as well. Just what was your approach to playing multiple positions?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm glad you're bringing that up, Kendall. You know, I'll use the phrase competitive rigor, okay, to be honest with you. That's what comes to mind. Everybody in here that knows me hopefully thinks I'm pretty competitive. You know, everybody that here's with me knows that I just, you know, I hate to lose. You know, one of my teammates that's in there, you know, he used the phrase, you know, hate losing more than the seven passions of, you know, of the sun. And just how intense that is. And so I think it's the competitive rigor, you know, and I came here just like, I didn't come here to play just quarterback.
Right.
You know, I came here to play college football. And I told the coaches, hey man, I can hold, I can punt, I can catch a football, run a football, you know, throw me on kickoff, I'll go do something. And, you know, I didn't shy away from, you know, competition. You know, obviously, you know, Nick Smith was here with me, Neil Philpott, there's other guys that I had to earn my time, you know what I mean? And I just told the coaches, hey, like, put me in. You know, the coach's job is to find a spot on the field for somebody, or the court for somebody, just to get somebody out there. And I was very fortunate that they found some positions for me.
Right.
You know, and I think it just, you know, then when I was in position to be a quarterback, I think guys, it wasn't unnatural for them to see me out there.
Right.
And I think that just kind of helped me kind of cement myself, and you know, just the competitive rigor that I had really helped that out.
Okay, so you were back at the Times, and I mean, I just imagine, what did that teach you? I mean, what you did through your career, and have you carried that all through your life?
I think so. You know, I'm gonna go back to, you know, my mom and dad and my brother. You know, they really set the foundation. You know, I said this as the foundation, but you know, one thing I learned from them was being selfless. Mm-hmm. You know, and you know, my brother was a really good athlete. He went to Emporia State, and you know, he was a, you know, call like it is, Ryan. You're a career backup too. You know, and I learned a lot from you. You know, just because the approach you took. So I learned, like, you know, what it takes to do that. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't necessarily have to be the one that scores all the touchdowns, scores all the, you know, the points, scores all the goals. You know, you can do a lot of other things. Mm-hmm. You know, and so I learned that early on in my career. And you know, I think teammates recognize that. At least I hope so. Hopefully, Latimer. Hopefully, you recognize that early on. But you know, I think a lot of success needs to go to Neil Philpott, to be honest with you, because you know, as Coach Roth and Coach Cronick would say, some city slicker from Overland Park came down, you know, and Neil was, you know, pretty country, and you know, he was in the limelight, you know, and obviously, you know, I had some assets to bring to the team, and you know, he was phenomenal. He embraced me. I didn't have a car until I was like 21 years old, you know, so he drove me to every practice. He coached me. That wasn't his job, you know, as Ben Roethlisberger would say, it's not his job to groom the backup quarterback. And him and I had a really good relationship, and I think that permeated through our team. And so whenever I was in the huddle, you know, the team didn't care. It didn't matter. It was just like, you know, he's in it to win it. And, you know, I don't know if Neil's in here tonight, but him and I still talk a lot, and I would say a lot of that goes to Neil.
Very cool. So that 04 team that goes to the national championship, you talk about scoring, and they led the entire nation in scoring that year. Just what sticks out the most for you from that year?
Can I be honest with you?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to give you two things. The first one is, the number one thing that sticks out from that season is that we didn't win the national championship. Okay. And that sucks. You know, but that's the one thing that I remember, right. You know, and so, because we didn't finish the job, and, you know, it's kind of funny. My son's actually wearing the 04 ring tonight around his neck, and there's you know, a diamond that is missing out of that ring, and he asked me why, you know, what's the story behind this? And I just told him, I said, I don't know, a few months after we got the ring, it went missing, and everybody wanted me to get fixed, and I just told him it's a reminder that we didn't finish the job. It's incomplete, so I'm okay with keeping it that way. You know, it's a simple reminder. Yeah. But just to kind of appease to your question, Kendall, I'll give you something, okay? So, you know, a lot of memories from that year, and, you know, although we didn't win the national title, you know, I firmly believe, you know, even though there's a team that went into the Hall of Fame tonight, I firmly believe that, you know, we're the greatest team to ever play the game here at Pittsburg State in football, that 04 season. And, you know, I would have to say that that last game of the year at Arrowhead, we were number 1 in the country, Northwest, at Green School was number 2. And, you know, 30,000 people, conference title on the line, home field advantage, everything. And, you know, it was amazing. You saw a picture on there, everybody holding the trophy. And, you know, Tim Austin running a comeback and go on the right sideline. You know, Phil Pott hit him, kind of iced the game. And, you know, it was a truly remarkable feeling. And we weren't complacent, and we enjoyed that for the moment, and we had other business to do. So I gave you 2 there, but that's kind of what sticks out from 04.
It's fair enough. You're keeping me on the straight and narrow. I appreciate that. Okay, 2005 squad. Just talk about that resolve and getting to the quarterfinals and what you remember from that year.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. You know, so 2005 was neat because Pittsburg State, you know, the fans and supporters got a chance to see a bunch of new faces, and like all the new guys who were going to start becoming Hall of Famers and breaking records, because that's really what happened. You know, 04, the juniors and seniors kind of just led the way. We took care of everything. You know, and in 05, we had a lot of new faces. And the faces that are going to be sitting up here soon, you know, the Mark Smiths, the Caleb Farabis, Marcus Nelson, Pierce Kerr, the Kendall Moles, the Drew Browns, the Ryan McInerney's, defensively, Nick Delasegas, you know, Ryan Meredith, you were like in the middle, you were like a sophomore, junior, but like, you know, you were already cemented yourself in that situation. But there were so many names that like just burst on the scene.
Right.
And us seniors, we had a good group that we kind of had to lead them. They relied on us. And like you see, it was a roller coaster year. Delta State came in, and we were trying to figure it out. They were good, but they beat us. And then we got to figure it out. Went on a good run, and then we ran into a really, really good Washburn team. You know, one of my best friends is here tonight, played at Washburn that year, and they were kind of the same mode as 04 for us. They had a bunch of seniors that got it figured out. They won the conference title that year for Washburn. And then got it figured out, and then we run into, you know, Coach Fritz up at Central. They decided to hang 83 on us, and I thought that was the end of our career, and you know, luckily it wasn't. You know, we were able to make a run in the national playoffs, and you know, kind of showed an RMAC team, Nebraska Kearney, kind of what football really was. And then West Texas, you know, they thought they had really good offense, and they scored 3 points, so they struggled. And I remember our defense just played outstanding. They forced 6 turnovers last. 7? All right, 7 turnovers that game, and all I had to do was hand the ball off. It made my life a lot easy. But it was really cool because, you know, like I said, a lot of new faces burst on the scene.
Yeah.
And that's what I remember. You know, it was really special to kind of be part of that team.
Very cool. You know, I'm familiar with a lot of folks that go in the Hall of Fame from the football side of things. Yours is actually really unique. How would you summarize your career?
You know, it's fun. You know, we won a lot of games. It wasn't easy. You know, it was hard. There was a lot of, you know, ups and downs you had to learn from. And, you know, there's another question after this, right? Or
There can be.
No, I mean, just summarizing it was, you know, it's all about the teammates. You know, people are telling me, you know, congratulations, right? And, you know, I just tell them, you know, yeah, I mean, I had a lot of good teammates. I mean, I had to hand the ball off to Jermaine Race. How easy is that? You know, so I mean, I didn't do a whole lot. You know, so I just would summarize it as I was super blessed to have really, really good teammates that made my life, you know, really easy. And I just was really good, or better than the defensive side of talking with the microphone.
Well, this may be a hit, but I will let it go. But any final thoughts before we let you go?
Yeah, I just, you know, like I said, it's about my family. It's about the inner circle. Everybody in here, you know, has that inner circle. And, you know, you're going to play along with me. You know, I have my family and friends and people that are connected to me right here in front of me. And, you know, people clap for me, but you know what? You need to stand up, and I want people to clap for you. Please stand up. Stand up. So, Kendall, all I want to say is everybody here is connected with Pittsburg State, and you know, whether you went to school here, whether you have a family member who went to school here, just some type of connection, and that's really special. And I want, you know, this means a lot to me, and, you know, people leave Pittsburg State all the time. I mean, I did it twice, okay? But the really cool thing is Pittsburg State never leaves the people. I'll repeat that. People leave Pittsburg State, but Pittsburg State never leaves the people. It's always in your heart. Thanks a lot.
That's awesome.